So this year we have Sabrina making coffee, Zac Efron makes oatmeal, and then Paris and Nicole get fast food. Starting with Sabrina, she partnered with Dunkin' Donuts to create the brown sugar shaken espresso, and her marketing for that is very much her personality.
Yes, she says, I'm shaking that S.
That's so cheeky. Oh.
So cheeky of her.
So basically, the drink is made with bold espresso, creamy oat milk, and brown sugar. What I think was very interesting about this ad is
that it wasn't Starbucks.
Well, when you're comparing Dunkin' Donuts to Starbucks, I often see Dunkin' Donuts having more of like a playful appeal to them. Starbucks seems more like lifestyle. Dunkin' Donuts, you know how they partnered with Ben Affleck? He did sign a multi-million-dollar deal with Dunkin'. He was doing a couple of commercials with Jennifer Lopez.
I feel like the ads themselves didn't translate too well to the audiences because every time he was photographed or there was like videos of him and J-Lo, he always looked so serious. So it doesn't match the playfulness that Dunkin' has. And, Sabrina Carpenter doing this one ad with them, that did more for me than, Ben Affleck's ads.
Sabrina definitely is the epitome of double entendre, sexual innuendos. Literally every concert is her showing a different position for Juno.
I think this was actually played out too long. I'm surprised that this Dunkin' collaboration wasn't done earlier.
Maybe because people expected that from her. Because she started with Erewhon, I believe, to make a smoothie earlier last year in 2024. Maybe she knew people were expecting her to do an espresso type of drink for a while, so she was kind of holding out. In addition to Dunkin', Absolute and Kahlua partnered with her to launch a short and sweet espresso martini cocktail kit in November 2024, and they were also the sponsors for her short and sweet tour. It was a big food industry collaboration with Sabrina this year.
It was like food product after food product because she did something with another coffee shop. I think it was like a local coffee shop. She did an ice cream pint with another company. I mean, she had her fragrances. They look like a bar of chocolate. I'm just waiting for her makeup to drop, honestly, because you see her lips on everything. I could see her partnering up with like MAC to do a red shade or something. And then everyone says that she has blush blindness, meaning she uses a lot of blush on her cheeks. So I'm sure everybody would love to use the blush that she's using.
Well, that looks like an opportunity for 2025. Speaking of opportunities, Zac Efron made an oatmeal. At first glance, I was not sure about this partnership, but then I found out he was actually the chief brand officer on their board of directors since 2022. I think we all know Zac likes to be like super healthy.
That man stays outside.
It just kind of makes sense because do you remember that Netflix series that he did called Down to Earth? He basically was traveling all over the world. Was it with his brother too?
I think so.
So he does have that like wildlife aspect to him. Looking at this brand called Kodiak Cake.
Oh, I love this brand. They have good protein pancakes. He collabed with them to make Kodiak apple brown sugar pecan oatmeal.
That sounds good.
That sounds insane. I would actually try this though. I'm watching the ad right now and he's like putting it in his hands. He's smelling it. He's grabbing like an apple and cutting it. They're really trying to appeal to all five senses. For you to see it, for you to hear it, so like ASMR. Also
to touch it.
Okay. We have a stand here. And who else is doing food?
Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie partnered with Sonic to launch Sonic Iconic Drinks. So I think Sonic is trying to appeal to like the early 2000s aesthetics. I think Paris and Nicole are like the perfect pair for that. And especially because they just recently launched a 3-part special called Paris and Nicole Encore.
So I'm looking at Sonic's Instagram right now to see the ad for it. While I think this is a great idea, I don't love the photo shoot behind it. It's so blurry and shiny that I can't even see the Sonic product too well. And while I get they're trying to match the aesthetic, I think it's like too much that it's almost like blinding. I can't see anything. And then even the last photo of them too under like the Sonic sign, they're like washed out.
A bit too much exposure?
I think so. And the thing is they're gorgeous, so I would have loved to see them a little bit more. So the goodies that they have with Sonic, it's featuring a custom bedazzled tumbler, iconic Sonic tees, and apparently some more things that they have not listed out. While I'm a fan of this idea, I'm not a fan of how it was executed.
According to the creative director or whoever was managing the campaign, they were saying that the target audience for this was Gen Z. So Gen Z is trying to, I guess, go back to the earlier times, like the early 2000s Y2K type of aesthetic and reviving a lot of those styles. Technically, millennials weren't necessarily the target audience for this.
I actually think they missed their mark. I think they're marketing to the wrong group, actually. I think if anything, the millennials could connect a little bit better to these two. And now that I'm looking at an another post of the Paris drink. It doesn't look that cool to drink. For it to be like this iconic pairing, it needed to look a little bit better. Like, this doesn't look appetizing to me. However, maybe to someone else it does. Like Zac Efron, at least he was in a farm and he was literally cutting the apples and picking this and doing that and showing you the product really well.
Have you seen the advertisement on TikTok?
No, I have not seen TikTok. I'm just on their Instagram right now, making that very clear for anybody listening before you attack me. Because we watched the show a bit when we were younger, we know that they worked at Sonic. And it was such a funny episode because obviously they weren't used to working. So I think it's so funny that they were like, oh, we should get rehired here. Now that I've seen the full ad on TikTok, I would have gone a completely different route. I think the cinematography for this ad was better captured here in a video versus the actual photography posted. I still stand by my statements of them being way too exposed. You can't see the products that well. Even in this TikTok video, the drinks aren't being shown that well. You see more Paris and Nicole, which I get, they're the stars of this ad, but you're also trying to show the product itself. You see Nicole's drink being handed to her, but I wanted it to be like a pause moment of the drink, maybe arrows pointing to each like ingredient in the actual drink. There's nothing really describing it too strongly, and this after one watch of the ad. But just within the one watch of this ad, I should be able to know what's in the drinks.
But maybe that was the point. Not giving you too many details to kind of persuade you to go to Sonic and try it for yourself.
Understood. It didn't even do that. So this is how I would have done it instead. Paris Hilton right now is a DJ. I remember when we did the episode of her doing this big launch with Motorola, I would have loved to see like a commercial of, you remember that old Jessica Simpson song where she's like roller skating? Public Affair by Jessica Simpson. Keep that vibe. I would have loved to see them in dazzled roller skates because Sonic, they come out in roller skates to deliver you like your order. I would have loved to see that, like a roller rink around Sonic and them like passing out their drinks to everybody, explaining what their drinks were while like Paris is like DJing. And then whatever they had in the script, it would go back to what they used to do in the show. That for me would have combined all the components that I needed for this ad. Or it would have been cool to even have like their episode playing on like a TV and them turning down like the volume, and then Paris Hilton in her little DJ set turning up the volume while you see like Nicole like handing out like her Nicole drink, and then Paris following suit. And then they always used to have like their bags and their dogs. Like I would have loved to see old factors in this ad. And then Paris just dropped an album. Like, what's going on? Who did this?
I guess I thought it was hot. I tried because Paris says that's hot.
And that's another thing. She could have done like a hot sundae or something, like a hot pink sundae.
That makes sense to me.
You see, like, where's the connection to this? Like, other than the drink being pink, maybe she could have had like a whole special on the menu. Sonic, I would love to sit with you.